Hi guys, Rebecca Lee here. Some of you probably know me, but I'm betting a bunch of you don't. Louisa and I have known each other for quite some time, and also Betty and I have known each other just through different DBT groups that we're involved in. But anyway, I have been practicing Dialectical Behavior Therapy since 2006, and I was in a couple of therapy-led groups that were 12 weeks long. So I did 24 weeks, with therapists leading, and then I've done my own work in therapy with that as well. And that was, like I said, way back 2006, 2007 is when I did those two groups. And then now I've just been, doing it online and talking about it, and it's really great to learn the different points of view that we all have. So I'm not a therapist or a professional, but I have a lot of experience using it in my own life. And so when Louisa asked if I wanted to come on and talk about it, because I do make videos elsewhere, yeah, I said, okay, yeah, sure, this will be good because it keeps me sharp, and at the same time, hopefully I can help you. But like I said, I'm just a peer. If you guys can give me some some of your own suggestions of how you use these techniques, I want to, of course, hear from you. Louisa and Betty, we all want to hear what you guys have to say. So anyway, without further ado, today we're talking about distress tolerance, and we're specifically honing in on the skill of prayer. And I have I have Louisa's reading here from her WordPress site. So I'm going to kind of refer to that, but I really am excited to talk about prayer today because it's something that I use, and you don't have to believe in any certain religion. You don't even need to believe in God in order to use this skill, because you can just access that intelligent, wise part of yourself that we all have, whether we believe that God put it there or it's just because we're human. I mean, however you want to look at it, we all have that wisdom that's inside of us that we can kind of tune into, especially if we're feeling distressed. So let's see, here we go. I'm going to just read this to you, and then I'll kind of interject. The Improve the Moment prayer. The next suggested distress tolerance technique is prayer. We are talking about prayer to a supreme being, God, a higher power, or to your own wise mind. In moments of great distress, prayer can relieve distress or help you to tolerate it better. So true. Okay, so Marsha Linehan talks about several kinds of prayer. She talks about the why me prayer and the distress prayer. In both, you're asking for something. Perhaps you're rather desperate. Maybe you're asking to be relieved from your distress, or asking for something in particular to happen, or asking whomever you're praying to have pity on you. So this is kind of a distress call, help! But there's also another way of using prayer that she calls acceptance prayer. This is a lot like radical acceptance. You open yourself up to what is. Whether you are praying to a God, a higher power, or to your own wise mind, this is not begging to have suffering taken away, and it is not a why me prayer. It is a way of being present with your distress, not fighting it, while at the same time you're not saying that it's okay. So, and then there's an exercise here, but I want to talk a little bit about that too. Sometimes when we have pain, we make the pain even worse when we can't accept it. When we're just saying, this is unacceptable, I don't want this pain, it has to go away now. Well, saying that isn't going to make the pain stop. And you're going to realize, you just feel the resistance, so you're adding to the pain, the resistance to the pain, if that makes sense. So in addition to, let's say I have a migraine. Normally we're talking about emotional pain, but just so we can kind of bring it into perspective. If I have a migraine, and I've done this before where it's been so painful that I'm crying and I'm, begging God to please take this pain away, that I can't stand it. And I've gone to the emergency room a couple of times in that kind of intense pain, but since then I've learned that a lot of times when you can just stop and notice the pain and just take that judgment piece out, take that I have to make this stop out, and just notice the pain, just feel it for a second, then you can deal with the pain by itself and you don't have to deal with the resistance to it. I think as you practice, this will make more sense. It's a little bit difficult to explain. But here is an exercise to try to kind of get you using the prayer as a good distress tolerance skill. So, take some current suffering and let yourself experience it just a little bit. Then, let's see. Sorry. Take some current suffering and let yourself experience it just a little bit. Then try one of the different types of prayers. Try the why me prayer. Notice how you feel. Like physically notice, how is this making me feel? Now let the suffering in a little again and try the distress prayer. Begging for help or relief. How do you feel now? And this is going to help you feel the way it feels to add resistance and the way it feels to kind of leave that resistance there. It's nighttime, you guys. I probably should have made this earlier in the day. My brain, I have a little bit harder time explaining things at night, but that's okay. We're going to do this. So anyway, so you try the why me prayer, you try the distress prayer, and you really notice how is it making you feel. And then you let the suffering in a little again and you try the acceptance prayer. Just letting yourself be in the presence of your higher power, your God, or whomever you're praying to, and then notice how you feel. If you don't pray to a higher power or God, try praying to or opening yourself to your own wise mind, that centered part of yourself, the part with a felt sense of what's right. And then we can go back and look at wise mind if you need help with that. Ask questions and comment on here and we can answer those questions too. So see what kind of acceptance you can find by praying in this way. List all the skills. This one needs to be practiced. After some practice, oh excuse me, I said that wrong. Like all the skills, this one needs to be practiced. After some practice, it will feel more natural to you. If you feel really uncomfortable, you can move on to another skill. It's a good idea to be practicing at least one distress tolerance skill every day. This is how we learn what works for us and how skills become second nature so that we have time or have them at our fingertips when we need them. And that's a really important point. Whether you use prayer, whether you use mindfulness, or whatever it is, you need to have something that you're practicing every day. And it's good to practice several different skills and see what works best for you. But that's why we kind of break these down and take them one at a time so that you can really focus on one skill and kind of give it a chance and see, is this going to work for me? So let's try this out this week. Try this exercise out where you just kind of sit with your pain. It doesn't have to be like an intense pain. You can take just an uncomfortable moment. Maybe you're feeling a little guilty over, something you said, or maybe you're just feeling unmotivated. Take any kind of negative feeling and practice using prayer to help dissipate it and see what it feels like to you. And try the different methods of prayer and just to really kind of play around with it. And we're going to be discussing this all week long. We'll have homework. So anyway, I'm really excited to look at this prayer with you guys this week. And anyway, leave me comments. Let me know what you think. And thank you guys for listening. And I'll see you next time. Bye.